Our first junior algebra video. In this video, we're going to introduce algebra and give you a little bit of background, a little bit of understanding of what it is all about. In mathematics, we often use symbols or letters to represent numbers to help us solve problems. This part of mathematics is called algebra. Here's example 1. We're going to use a box to represent a number, and a number plus 4 more is equal to 10. So what's the missing number? Well, I know you've figured out by now it should be 6, because 6 plus 4 is 10. But we don't use a box in algebra. We use a letter or a symbol to represent that number. We could use x plus 4 is equal to 10. We could use n for number, n plus 4 is equal to 10. G plus 4 is equal to 10. Alpha is a Greek letter of the alphabet, often used in mathematics. Alpha plus 4 is equal to 10. Gamma, this is the sign, a Greek letter for G, I believe, gamma. Gamma plus 4 is equal to 10. But a very common letter that we like to use in algebra is just x. X and y seem to be the most common, so we get used to using x. X plus 4 is equal to 10. Now, here's a couple of examples I've written on the screen. Example 2, x plus 8 is equal to 10. In this example, x has to equal the number 2, because 2 plus 8 more is equal to 10. But in example 3, I've used another letter, p. P plus 3 is equal to 8. And in that example, p has to equal the number 5, because 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. So in these examples, we use letters to represent a number. Now, when we use letters or symbols, they are called variables. So in these examples, the letter x or the letter p are called variables. So a variable is a letter or a symbol that represents a number. Right, let's look at this example. Example 4, a number plus 4. We're going to write this into algebra. So we're going to use x as the number, and we're going to write x plus 4, a number plus 4. Now, we didn't have to use x. We could have used t plus 4, a plus 4, n plus 4. Doesn't really matter what letter or symbol we use. Right, here's another example. Example 5, a number multiplied by 3. So we're going to use x once again, x times 3. Now again, we didn't have to use x. We used n for number, number times 3, p times 3. But a lot of people like to use x. A lot of people, a lot of textbooks, a lot of mathematicians around the world are used to using x. A very common letter they use. Now we're going to learn later on that we don't actually write it as x times 3. A better way to write it is 3x. And we'll learn how to do that because we don't write a times sign and we always put the number at the front. The 3 will go at the front. But let's just look at this 3x because there's some keywords you need to learn to finish off this video. The first keyword is the word coefficient. A coefficient is a number that gets multiplied by a variable, by a letter. And in this example, 3 times x, the 3 is called a coefficient. The x is a letter or a symbol, and we've talked about it before in this video, called a variable. Now, if I write more than one thing down, I write n plus 4. The coefficient of n is actually 1, and we'll talk about this more as we get into algebra. We don't need to write a coefficient of 1. 1 times a number is just the number. The variable in this example is n. Now, this number by itself is called a constant. Constant is a number all by itself that can't change. Now, last couple of key words. When I have one thing written down, one part of algebra written down, we call it a term. 3x is a term. 5p is a term. But when I write more than one thing, and I often have a plus or a minus between them, then we call it an expression. An expression is in algebra a whole lot of terms together. All right, that's us for now. Thank you for watching.